The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most important waterways in the world. It is a narrow channel, but it controls a huge part of global oil transportation. Every day, millions of barrels of oil pass through this tiny stretch of water. For many countries, it is the only way to move oil from producers to buyers. This strait has been in the news many times. It is often linked to stories about rising oil prices, shipping disruptions, and even military tensions. If anything happens in the Strait of Hormuz, the whole world feels it. This makes it a place of both opportunity and risk. In this essay, we will explore why the Strait of Hormuz is so important for the world's economy. We will look at its location, the amount of oil and gas it handles, and what happens if it is blocked. We will also use real news stories and reports from trusted sources to explain these points. So, let's begin by understanding where exactly the Strait of Hormuz is found on the map and why its geography matters so much. The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow waterway that connects the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea. It is located between the countries of Iran to the north and Oman and the United Arab Emirates to the south. The strait is only about 39 kilometers wide at its narrowest point. This small passage is like a gate. It is the only sea route for many oil-producing countries in the Persian Gulf. This includes countries such as Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar. All their ships carrying oil must pass through this narrow opening to reach the rest of the world. Because the strait is so narrow, it is easy to control. It is also easy to block. This makes it a sensitive area for both trade and politics. Many countries keep a close watch on what happens here. Knowing the exact location of the Strait of Hormuz helps us understand why it is so important for the world's energy needs and why it is often in the news. The Strait of Hormuz is the world's busiest oil passage. According to the US Energy Information Administration, about 20% of all the oil traded in the world moves through this strait every day. That is around 21 million barrels of oil each day, as reported in 2023. This is more than any other oil choke point in the world. Not just oil, but natural gas also passes through the strait. Big ships, called tankers, carry these fuels to countries all over the world. The oil and gas that travel through the Strait of Hormuz reach Asia, Europe, and even the United States. If this flow stops or slows down, the world immediately feels the impact. Factories, cars, and homes everywhere need oil and gas to run. A delay or shortage can lead to high prices and shortages in many countries. These numbers and facts come from respected sources like the United Nations, BBC, and the US EIA. They show just how critical this waterway is to the global economy. Many countries in the Persian Gulf produce huge amounts of oil and gas, but they have only one way to send these resources overseas: the Strait of Hormuz. Without it, their oil would stay trapped in the region, unable to reach buyers in Asia, Europe, Africa, or America. Countries like Japan, China, India, and South Korea buy most of their oil from the Gulf states. According to the United Nations, Japan gets over 80% of its oil from the Persian Gulf. For India and China, the numbers are almost as high. They depend on the Strait of Hormuz to get their daily energy needs. Even countries far from the strait, like the United States and those in Europe, feel its importance. When the flow of oil through the strait is threatened, prices rise everywhere. Airlines, transport companies, and even farmers are affected because they all use oil products. This high level of dependence means that every country has a stake in keeping the Strait of Hormuz open and safe. If the Strait of Hormuz is blocked or even threatened, the results are, well, serious and immediate. Oil prices can jump overnight. This happens because buyers worry they might not get enough oil, so they're willing to pay more for whatever is still available. Economists call this a supply shock. In the past, whenever there were threats or even small attacks near the strait, oil prices rose quickly. For example, back in June 2019, 2 oil tankers were attacked near the Strait. Right after the news broke, the global price of oil shot up by almost 4%. This really shows how sensitive the market is to any trouble in the Strait of Hormuz. A blocked strait also hurts shipping and trade. Every day, hundreds of ships carry not only oil, but also other goods. If ships can't pass, trade slows down. Factories might run out of fuel. People might see higher prices for things like petrol, heating oil, and even food. The world's economy is tightly connected to this narrow waterway, and any disruption can cause waves that reach every corner of the globe. There have been several times in history when the Strait of Hormuz made global headlines. One famous case is the tanker war during the Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s. Both countries attacked oil tankers passing through the strait, trying to hurt each other's economies. As a result, oil prices around the world became unstable. More recently, in 2019, the United States accused Iran of attacking oil tankers near the strait. Iran denied the charges, but the news caused oil prices to rise. The BBC reported that insurance costs for ships passing through the strait also went up. This made it more expensive to move oil, and those costs were passed on to customers. In 2021, tensions increased again when a ship was seized near the strait. This led to fears of more conflict. The United Nations called for calm, warning that a wider conflict could hurt the world economy. These real-life events show how quickly the strait can become a flashpoint, and why everyone pays attention to news from this region. Because the Strait of Hormuz is so important, international laws help protect the right of ships to pass through. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, says that all ships have the right to transit passage through straits used for international navigation. This means no country can block the strait without breaking international law. Organizations like the United Nations and the International Maritime Organization, or IMO, watch over the safety of shipping. When there is trouble or a threat in the strait, these groups often call meetings to discuss solutions. They try to make sure everyone's oil supply remains safe. Countries outside the region, such as the United States and the United Kingdom, have sometimes sent naval ships to patrol the strait. Their goal is to protect shipping routes and keep the flow of oil steady. These efforts show how important it is for the world to work together to keep the Strait of Hormuz open and peaceful. Keeping the Strait of Hormuz safe is a top priority for many nations. Countries work together to patrol the waters and watch for threats. The United States, for example, has a naval base nearby in Bahrain. Other countries, such as the United Kingdom and France, also send ships to help protect the strait. There are also regular meetings between the countries in the region. They discuss ways to avoid conflict and to keep the strait open for business. Sometimes, they use technology like drones and satellites to watch the area and spot problems early. Shipping companies also take steps to protect their ships. They hire private security, use faster routes, and keep in touch with naval patrols. All these efforts help reduce the risk of attacks or blockades. Without these precautions, the risk of disruption would be much higher, and the world's oil supply would be in danger. The Strait of Hormuz may look small on the map, but it has a big impact on our daily lives. It is the world's most important oil passage. Every country depends on its safe operation, whether directly or indirectly. Any problems here quickly lead to higher oil prices and affect economies around the globe. History shows that threats to the strait cause real trouble. Oil prices surge, shipping slows, and people everywhere feel the shock. This is why the world pays so much attention to what happens in this narrow waterway. By understanding the importance of the Strait of Hormuz, we can see why peace and cooperation are needed to keep it open. The strait is not just a local issue, it is a concern for everyone who uses oil or gas in any form. This makes the Strait of Hormuz a true lifeline of the world economy, and its safety matters to all of us.